Hello and welcome to the Burning Metal Podcast. We're here today for a special for the Tullamore Phoenix Metal Festival, and I'm joined by Nathan and Ocean of a War of Attrition who have organised the festival. How are things, lads?
What's
Pretty good,
cracking,
Phil.
Phil?
Thanks for having us on.
And before we talk about the festival and stuff and the future of war attrition, amongst other things, unfortunately, we'll have to start on a bit of a dour note. That unfortunately, the festival and a lot of other things this year have been related to your brother Nathan Luke, who went missing in January, and unfortunately, 3 months later, has still been unaccounted for. So, how throughout this process, how did you find, say, for example, like the cops or all these other things? How was that? Did they go out of their way to help you, or how was your experience been? Be honest.
Um, well, we've put in to have his description corrected multiple times since the beginning of this, and it's still not right.
Jesus.
He doesn't have ginger hair or auburn hair, as the description is. He's not 6 foot tall. He's 5'10". Uh, it's stuff like that that's not being addressed. Like, he's still not been added to the Interpol missing persons list.
What?
Yeah, still hasn't been added on. We've been inquiring about this for months. Back in February, we had a meeting with the commissioner in Limerick, and he was supposed to get Interpol involved to try and get access to Luke's English bank account, and still haven't had any movement on that. So, like, there's just been a lot of things that haven't been done. We had the council finally mobilize the civil defence after 3 months, but
And that was
they
an automated process as
yeah,
well. So
that's due to an automated process.
yeah, we're on the system for 3 months. A computer takes the box. Apparently, 20 minutes of paperwork would have mobilized the K9 unit and the civil defence, but nobody in the Limerick City Council did that, despite our petitioning. And we had to find out that nobody did it, and the civil defence got mobilised from RTE News.
Mm. That's how we found out about it.
So all that time in the beginning was just basically if you weren't doing if there was no social media and you weren't pushing it so hard and people weren't supporting it, there literally had been no one looking basically other than you.
Pretty
Correct.
much, pretty much, yeah. It's yeah, like we did more searching and looking through areas than the guards have done, than pretty much everywhere else. Like, don't get me wrong, we've had like the Tipperary search and rescue. They've been out with drones searching over areas that are just too fucking big for us to be able to go in through and get an accurate like lay of the land. Like, we've had the marine search and rescue up and down the river and that. So, like, there are organizations in that have they have done well by us, but there's other agents of the government and fucking various things that just they haven't been mobilized or utilized, and it's just a bit shocking, to be honest.
Well, volunteer services have been incredible with us. The professionals have not.
Yeah, like the best people have been the volunteers who've
Yeah.
gone through something similar to us, and then yeah, just trying to get updates from the guards and all that is just we haven't gotten any. It's we're supposed to have a family liaison officer. None of us have heard from her in 2 months now, I think it is. So it's like, yeah, it's frustrating.
Oh man, that would leave a fucking horrible taste in your mouth, like, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm already not much of a fan for government and shit. Fucking, we're very outspoken against a lot of the injustices and misappropriation of government stuff and that. But like, unfortunately, your man in Kerry who's been missing, there's his case has been elevated to suspected foul play.
Mm.
I mentioned whether or not, had they taken into, account the possibility of foul play regarding Luke. They were like, oh, sure, why would we do that? Was the response I got. I'm like, well, there's no CCTV of him around anywhere. So to me, that says that he left the area in a car. So,
Yeah.
like, have you been looking into that? And, I've just been met with, we have no reason to believe that. I'm like, well, have you
How do you,
considered it?
how do you
You
know
know,
that?
yeah. Because like, don't get like, it's Luke's done his disappearing act a couple of times, but like we'd always be able, we'd be get through to him on his mobile, or we'd
Something.
find him. Yeah, we'd get him within an hour, and normally he'd just be walking around trying to clear his head or whatever. But with this one, it's like he walked out the door, and that's the last anyone fucking saw of him. Like
Yeah.
nothing on any cameras, no CCTV anywhere. Like, and we live in the age of fucking information, the technology age now. There's cameras fucking everywhere, and he doesn't show up on a single one. How the fuck does that happen?
That is bizarre. It's like he just walked out the door and just disappeared, basically.
Yeah,
In the middle of Ireland's third largest city as well. You'd say one thing if it was a small, quiet little country town, but
yeah,
Fucking hell. I would say that this all shocks me, but unfortunately it doesn't, because the incompetence of this country starts at the top and trickles its way down.
yeah,
well, look, the Limerick City Council have a lot to answer for. Mayor John Moran has a lot to answer for. We have petitioned so hard to get the civil defence on board, and it took nearly 100 days. This is a systematic fault. 3 months later is not good enough.
yeah.
Fuck. Jesus Christ. Just goes to show just how unfeeling these people are more than anything. They don't
Yeah.
even give a fuck, like, do they?
No, but that's the thing. Like, the government loves to fucking do this thing of, oh, we look out for the people, but they fucking don't. Like, fucking, if you have issues with your mental health, you're waiting 3 months to a year or more to fucking see a professional to get
Yeah.
yourself sorted. Like, fucking with Luke going disappear, like fucking disappearing, 3 months for the civil defense to be mobilized, 3 months for cadaver searching dogs to be fucking mobilized. It's like, why, the fuck are we supposed to think here? Like, what are we supposed to do? Because, like, by the time we were in contact with like Missing Persons Ireland and some of the other things, they're like, okay, here's what you need to do, and we just kind of went, oh, we've done all of this, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. We didn't think you would have.
The guards, incidentally, had not put Luke onto the official Pulse system, which is the official missing persons list, until what, it was about 90 plus hours after Luke went missing, closer to 5 days by the time Luke went and his information went onto the official system, which meant that volunteer services like the National Missing Persons Helpline couldn't do anything. They legally can't act and share around information until it goes onto the Gardaí Pulse system. It took them the better part of 5 days
Yeah,
to
and even
start.
at that, they gave them the wrong fucking information.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I wouldn't know much about this, but I could imagine the first 5 days and something like this would be integral,
yeah. Well, I mean, everything I've ever read about missing persons is like the first 24 hours. That's the most important time. It's the time when you're most likely to find them still fucking up and kicking, or at the very least in a state where, if they've decided to do something, if they've decided to end their life, you're most likely to find them in a state where you might be able to save them.
Jesus Christ. Jeez, my heart goes out to you, man. It really fucking does. Like, Jesus Christ. What a horrible thing to go through, like.
It's like, it's I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's fucking not,
God,
man.
how
Like,
could it be?
I've like, I'm not one for crying much, but I've cried more over the last 3 months than I think I've done in the last 10 years.
Oh, I can well imagine. Like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking horrible. It really is. Top to bottom, that's horrible. Bad enough that the man went missing, but everything that you've just told me there is it's shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah,
Incompetence and just no interest and just
it's fucking bureaucracy, Phil. Like, it's the end of the day. If shit needs doing, why the fuck is there 50 lads there waiting to fill out a form instead of just doing the fucking task that needs to be done?
Yeah.
right. And I think we'll move on on that point now, because I don't think there's a better way to finish it than that.
We could go on about that for a while.
But I think that's. But of course, you recently dropped your new single. Oh bollocks! What's the name of it again? Sorry, lads.
The devil you've become.
Devil You've Become, and you got censored, to put it mildly.
Yeah. So The Devil You've Become, it kind of explores the history of the so-called Holy Lands from the Crusades all the way up to the modern day invasion of Palestine by the Israeli Defense Forces. And just it calls out genocide, it calls out conscription, it calls out, killing in God's name. And
Twisting your
then
faith.
it bears the likeness of the IDF and the Israeli government to the SS and the Nazis who persecuted them not 100 years ago, and saying it's like, okay, now you're on the other side of history, and we understood this would be controversial for sure, but obviously being Irish, we side with Palestine because it's a fairly similar history to the people of Ireland, and we have had that song removed from social media so many fucking times. Basically, if we said anything about what the song was about in the status updates or the hashtags or anything like that, it immediately got banned. We couldn't put it up, so I just kind of removed what the song was about in the song's status and title, and even at that, I couldn't take out sponsored advertising on the song on Instagram or TikTok. I managed to get it through on Facebook, but we actually couldn't upload the song itself to Instagram at all, still to this point, to the point of they actually removed the audio from the song when I tried to upload it from the lyric video. And we eventually just put up a picture of the song concept art and attached the Spotify song together on Instagram. We've been shadow banned all over the place for supporting Palestine and condemning Israel.
And another thing, unfortunately, that doesn't surprise me either, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is kind of funny though.
Saying free Palestine,
Oh, sure, I know myself. Like, even when the podcast me and Adrian do, some weeks I put in mad stories and all the rest of it, and things going on around the world. Some weeks there we'll have 150 views, the next week we'll have 25 views. And then about 3 weeks later, the one that had 25 views will start growing again because people will realise, oh, bloody hell, they've obviously been shadow banned again. Or whatever I've said this time, but I'm not gonna stop. I don't care. They can keep shadow banning me all we want. I'll just keep going anyway. It's a bit like yourselves, lads. You know, you have to fucking
America's point of view, then forget about having your content actually reaching people.
Yeah, that's the problem too, I suppose. And of course, the other band, what are they called? Oh, fuck, the rap group.
Oh, Kneecap.
Oh, they're getting completely fucking eradicated.
Yeah, they're being removed from a load of festival lineups as well. Like, it's just, I find it like I just find it very funny. Like, I was watching an interview that their manager was doing on RTE, and like they're like your ones just try to go at him and be like, oh, but you've said up Hamas, up Hezbollah, that kind of shit, and he's just like, well, yeah, that's maybe not appropriate, but at the end of the day, like, why is a band, a music group, being held more accountable and more than anything than politicians who are literally pulling the fucking pin in war? Like, they're, drumming
Killing
up.
children.
Yeah, they're killing children, killing innocent civilians, blowing up fucking hospitals. And they're going, oh, this rap group's evil for saying fuck these guys who are ordering people to kill children.
And on top of that too, they've been starved to death.
Yeah. The fucking
lines being put off like this.
Who fucking, there was some fucking fella in the news I saw earlier on Facebook saying apparently that it's justified, that Israel has every right to stop water, electricity, and food going through Gaza.
Some sick people out there, man.
Really. Yeah, it's like,
we've actually, on our video and just on Facebook, we've gotten a lot of abuse from Israeli people.
Fucking imagine it.
Was genocide. We've hardly wiped out 2.5% of them. Um, and I was just kind of stunned at some of the comments. Like, we got a lot of hate, and we knew we were in controversy. It's something we believe in, but we know controversy sells, and we were kind of hoping for a bit of that hate. But like some of the comments, they were like, so like, yeah, we haven't killed enough of them yet. It's like, oh my god, it's like you genuinely believe that you're doing God's work by eradicating an entire people. This is insane. Like,
Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Well, other than that, the song has done quite well, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, relatively speaking, it's done fairly well.
Complete and considering it's been more or less shadow banned, but anyone that's heard it have said it was good. Myself and Adrian both thought it was very good, and of course, Oren and Overdrive covered it as well too. Like, he didn't hold back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been well received in the Irish metal scene, and we've had a couple of big enough like international magazines approach us for interviews and stuff, and they'll be coming in the next few weeks. Not quite Metal Hammer levels now, but a few fun things. And we released that song because it's a nice taster for the album to come. It's also the least like the rest of the album and the shortest song on the album. So just
any kind of rough ETA for the album?
We're hoping around Halloween. Like, there's a lot of work to do on it. So we've recorded drums for a couple of the songs. We're hoping next week to get back in and do more guitars and vocals. But there's a couple of songs that are pretty fucking crazy on it. There's one song that's nearly 10.
I am devastation.
It's really difficult to play. So it's going to take us a while, but we're hoping to have the next single out. We're hoping maybe
in the next few weeks.
The Phoenix Festival. Well, just in around the Phoenix Festival. All going well. So next single will be coming out, and then no more singles. Maybe no more singles. Maybe till the album's ready. We might change our mind at the end of today. We've got 7 or 8 tracks on the album, which means we could drop 7 or 8 singles and keep the momentum going. But yeah, I think the plan is drop 2 singles and then balls to the wall on the rest of the album.
Or maybe, however you want to do it yourself, lads, but the way I see the music world evolving now, sometimes it's probably better to drip feed things rather than drop a full album, because a full album comes out and then a couple of weeks later, everyone has kind of moved on,
That's kind of what we were talking about, but at the end of the day, like, I kind of like I've always loved when you get a single or maybe 2 singles and then the album comes out and blows you away. But if you're dropping like half the album worth of singles, by the time the album comes out, it's like, oh, I've heard the song, I'll skip on to the next one. Not. But it is the way that the world is going. People got incredibly short attention spans, so realistically dropping a single every month or so is much smarter for social media than just dropping a single, then dropping the album. But I guess it's the old school metal in us that's like, that's such a lame way of doing it. But I make it, I guess, gonna have to compromise. Like, we started using TikTok there the other day, and that's a whole new world for us. Thankfully, my partner is a lot more familiar with TikTok than I am, so she's been helping us out. And then Luke's partner, actually, Danny, she's been helping us out as well with the TikTok, because we're just grumpy old men who don't like modern media. But like, I mean, I put up a fucking video of my cat moshing to one of our songs yesterday, and that's at nearly 4,000 views in 24 minutes.
I'm not surprised.
I'm like, yeah, my cat gets more fucking views than we do. Like.
Yeah, we've just dropped a new single. Okay, well, fuck that. Oh, a cat. Oh, I'm watching that. That does not surprise me either.
Hey man, cats and metal go hand in hand, you know.
And I assume you're doing the album with Rocondra Studios, yeah?
Yeah.
We are. So we're doing the drums with Dominic Chappelle of Learning Hub Studios in Limerick, and then the rest of it with Calvin Yu of Rocondra. And Calvin is he's new to the game, but he just gets it. Like, you know, I didn't need to give him the production notes. It's like he was inside our heads, and he'd show us the mix, and it's like, yeah, you just fucking knew what you were doing. You knew what we wanted. And he works fast, he works well, and yeah, just good friends with Calvin. It's been fun recording with him. Like, we could have spent more money and gone to like Track Mix or gone to Josh up in Belfast, but you know, we were like, you know what? Let's give this guy a shot. I'd worked with him with Banish from Eden. I was just like, he's trying to prove himself, being the new sound engineer on the scene. Let's see him prove himself all over our album. And the single that we dropped, it's going to be remixed on the album itself. So it'll be kind of different version again by the time you hear it again on the album. Which I've always liked, that when a band dropped a single and then you hear it again on the album and it's like, oh, these are two slightly different songs or two versions of the same song. So,
oh, it's good to give an up-and-coming studio a go too, because an up-and-coming studio will never become a proper studio as such unless people support it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime I say to Calvin, it's like, you know, I'd like the soft guitar tone to be a bit more icy, or like, I don't really know exactly which delay I want. He'll just be like, something like this, and spot on. It's like he's inside my brain. It's like, what you're looking for. I was like, that's exactly what I was looking for. So, you know what? This is not necessarily fucking the highest production album of all time. This is not fucking, you know, Metallica. This is not Trivium, but this is War of Attrition, and this will be, you know, what we wanted it to be.
Oh, very good, very good. And of course, it'll be something for us to look forward to, and because this year, lads, is really shaping up when it comes to albums.
Yeah,
there's some serious stuff dropping this year. Like,
of course, this is his new album. That's the one I'm. Fucking Acid Ages album. It was phenomenal. So
you have a new Soothsayer album coming as well.
Oh shit!
Not many people know about that, but it's coming.
Well, they're gonna know now.
Con has left the internet, but I still talk to him.
Okay.
Myself and Con get on well. He's a sound lad. He just completely disappeared off social media 2 years ago, and he said it's the best thing he ever done. And he's a lucky bastard to be able to do that as well. He'll be able to keep the man going and have to deal with everything else.
Worry about on social media, so I can't truly do that. But we've played with Soothsayer before, and they're some of the best fucking performers I've ever seen. Like, their live energy. Forget about the music. Just their stage presence alone is something else.
Well, we'll have to see where you come in at the end of the year, lads. But hopefully now you give us a headache, but time shall tell on that. Yeah. And of course, we'll kick on to the Tullamore Phoenix Metal Festival itself now. That's in the Jolie's Bar and Lounge in Tullamore on the 31st of May. And what time is the doors? 12 o'clock? 1 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And we're going to obviously go into each band individually. And first, we're going to mention it'll be Too Far-Fetched, the lads from Mullingar, Anto and the boys, like, and Colin as well too, and great lads and a great band.
Yeah, no, they're fucking cool dudes.
Yeah, so like I remember Colin from his time in Job Seekers, playing at the punk festivals. Like, I wouldn't have known him well or anything, but I remembered him, and Keith would have known him, or bassist Keith, obviously from his time in the punk community. It's funny because they reach out to us, but they were actually one of our considerations because we wanted a Midlands band.
Yeah.
We didn't have any band that was based in the Midlands. Like obviously, War of Attrition, we're all Midlands boys. Vendetta Love, they're all Midlands boys, but we didn't have a Midlands band. Like Limerick and Vendetta Love are a Dublin band, so we had considered too far fetched. And I really liked their music. Seen them at like masses and whatnot. And when they reach out to us, we were like, "Oh, that saves us the message." So we were happy enough with that.
Yeah, they'll be. Have you any kind of? I'm obviously not going to ask now, but have you any kind of idea of the running order yet, or is that to be determined nearer to the day?
Good idea.
You don't know. You don't have to say. You don't have to say it. You don't have to say it. But you kind of have a sort of a rough idea. Yeah.
So the Vendetta Love and Risen Dread are kind of anchor headliners, and they're going to be playing at the end of the night. The rest of the running order is kind of coming together a bit up in the air because we essentially said to the bands, it's like, look, let us know what times you want to play. We'll see what we can do for you. So we're trying to accommodate the bands who are traveling further. So the likes of Outrage, they're actually playing a gig earlier that day, like an early gig for the Pride Parade in Wexford, and they're traveling on the way down. So they'll be on a bit later in the day. And then a couple of bands have said they'd prefer to go earlier. So Ritual Effect will be on a bit earlier because I know that one of the lads wants to bring their kids along, so they want to be on before 7 o'clock so the kids can be there. But yeah, we'll be dropping the roster for the day, I would say, within the next week.
Yeah. And of course, you have a Perillium, I believe I say them. They're a Limerick-based new metal band. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Prelim, Wolfie and the boys in there. We've actually known them for a few years now. They've had a couple of changes in their lineup and that, but back in Wolfie's one of their good friends. He's also going to be shooting a documentary for the entire festival. So
very good.
That's a huge bonus as well with having them on board. And like he would have known Luke as well from whenever Luke's down in Limerick. We're trying to get it so that everyone involved has some kind of tie to everything that's going on, really.
Like they're a mystery to me. I assume you've seen them live, but played live with them. But I know nothing about these lads.
They're brilliant. They're fucking brilliant.
Such a front man and vocalist. If you saw this lad, he's a short, little, kind of very innocent-looking guy. You would never expect the voice that comes out of him. It's monstrous. First time I saw, like, I've been friends with Wolfie for years. The first time I saw him live was there when we played with them, last month? And I was blown away. I couldn't actually connect the voice to the person. Perillium, remember the name because they're going to become real relevant real soon. As well as Tide 7. So Mark from Tide 7 is another great friend of ours. And Tide 7 are going to be, if they keep their trajectory, they will be an internationally recognized deathcore band by their second album, mark my words.
Yeah, because myself and Adrian now, when we were following Tide 7, and we were both of the opinion they have the ability to really go far if things go their way. Like,
oh yeah,
they're going to be the next time in 4 or 5 years' time. Like if they keep going the way they're going, like Lorna Shore, watch your back.
High praise.
Yeah, no, Mark's vocals are class.
Of course, you've got.
We can't hear a word you're saying.
We've got the post-metal kind of doomy band, Ohifure, I believe you pronounce their name.
Ihafure.
Ihafure.
Yeah. Or Ihafure. I don't know. Yeah, no, they're they're really, really cool. Dara, their guitarist, himself and his wife Helena were out helping us with the search with Luke,
Mhm.
and they also played the gig with Prelium and Tide Seven as well. So we're just like, yeah, fuck it, let's get these boys on.
Oh, they seem
Or
like good lads. Obviously, I don't know them, but
Oh yeah, man.
what I
the
can
way,
gather about them, they seem like they're really good people. Like,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
fucking good heads on them, and their tunage is fucking monstrous for a three-piece band, man.
yeah,
Like it's like fuck.
yeah. I actually
funny,
went back and listened to them last night because before we'd done this, because I hadn't realized I hadn't listened to them in a long time, and I was like, bloody hell, these are only a three piece. I've got a great sound for a three piece. Like,
Yeah, sure, your man. I can't remember their fucking bassist's name, but he uses a guitar instead of a bass.
do it all together.
Yeah, man, it's fucking like it's cool the way they do it, and like I just really love seeing other bands like do things that are different and interesting.
And as you said earlier, it's connected into what you wanted for your
Yeah,
brother as well too. So they were involved in that, so which was cool, like as well. And of course, you've already mentioned Ritual Effect, but they're brilliant.
oh yeah, great time for Mo and the boys.
Ah, Mo is a lunatic of a fun
it's
man.
always great crack playing with them. We've played with them a few times over the years, and they're just so much fun.
And Mo, when you'd meet him, like, and he's very quiet and reserved. But when
Yeah,
he
then you
gets on
see,
that stage, man,
yeah.
he's a monster. It's just like fucking like Capsule of Grayskull shit. Like, he just changes to somebody else when he gets up there, like.
Oh man, his stage presence and like just the way he does his fucking thing is class. He's brilliant.
He's a natural entertainer.
Yeah.
And I assume you've heard the story about the bus in London. You have?
No?
All right. Many years ago, before Ritual Effect became a thing, there was a thing called Face Melter Records with Aaron of Ren Marabou and the Berserkers, amongst other things, all in previous bands. But they were playing this gig in London, and Mo was known for his wireless setup, and he'd run off the stage and all the rest of it. But he went running out the venue at the door of this venue in London, and all of a sudden, this massive bus just fucking flew past. Everyone in the venue looking out the door, thinking, "Oh my good God, he's fucking dead." Whatever happened, he's obviously spotted this bus coming at the very last second and spun around, and the bus just literally missed him by inches. The boys all said inside in the venue, they were for about a split second there, they were just like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" But the
Oh,
thankfully,
if you want more repeats of that.
I don't think there'll be any big buses passing in Tullamore, so you'll be quite safe there. But
Yeah, no, hopefully not.
that kind of puts a good that's kind of a story about just how mental Mo is liable to get on stage.
I'd say having the kids would calm him down a wee bit.
Oh, exactly. This is a good few years ago now. I'm going back at least a decade here now. Of course, we've mentioned Tide Seven, and of course you've got Unmaker on there as well too, Aaron and the boys.
Yeah, no, it's fucking like we've been playing with them and against them in Metal to the Masses and that for what 3 4 years now. And like
One
no,
maker, the band we've played with the most, we've gigged with the most, I think.
yeah, no, fucking I really love their shit. Like they're a bunch of good dudes. They've always like been very supportive of anything we've done, and so we try to throw that back to people. Like fucking, you know, you stroke my back, I'll stroke yours, kind of shit. But
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
it's yeah, no, like fucking, I still really want to do a cover of Limb from Limb.
Yeah, same.
Like it's one of my favorite Irish tracks from the last few years. Limb from Limb, man, it's fucking
Oh,
sick.
they're a very good band, all right. Of course.
And every single time that song comes on, I come out of mosh pit in bits. Like,
And of course, we've also mentioned previously 12 Gauge Outrage, to say, who were a trash band from fucking Wexford, and Wexford, and
Yeah, they're well, Enniscorthy, I think, is where they're based.
Discord, yeah. And they're a band who have come on leaps and bounds in the last few years
Oh
as well
yeah.
too.
Actually, the amount of
yeah,
stuff they've been doing, like throwing gigs down in the is it the rec center down there?
Oh, what's the
Yeah,
presentation
that's
art
it.
center?
Yeah, like the amount of gigs they've thrown down there, like fucking, we were down for one, and it was brilliant. Like it's all young people. It's a whole new generation of metalheads and shit, and it was really really good to see. Like it was just brilliant.
Such
And
a
plus,
great scene in Enniscorthy. Like we were stunned, but that gig was like packed and they were moshing like crazy. And then lads from 12 Gauge came up to us, apologized. It's like, lads, sorry about the crowd. Like, that was probably one of the smaller crowds we've had because there was something else going on in Dublin that day. We were like, that was a small crowd. Oh, fuck, get us back to a large crowd. So,
yeah, I'm fucking
There's been
just
no
good
mention.
shit.
There's been no mention of a festival yet down there this year. There was one last year, but I'd hope
yeah,
that.
yeah. They asked us to do the festival last year. Unfortunately, we just couldn't. We couldn't, and we were written because honestly, like Enniscorthy was one of the best gigs, and one of some of the most crack we've had in some time. Like great scene, great people, great bands. Like we've said, we're going back to Enniscorthy, whether they'll have us or not.
You'll be back at some point. And of course, you've mentioned the Risen Dread, who are going to be one of the headliners on the day, who are set to
Yeah.
release their new album, Death from Above, and they dropped their new single, A Conversation with God, there last week. And Jesus, they've got something in the tank, lads. We just know it. We haven't heard it yet. I don't know if you
Yeah,
have, but I haven't.
yeah, fucking Matt from the Risen Dread has been one of my best friends for over half my life. Like we met through martial arts, actually. Funnily enough, doing martial arts camps, and the day myself and Matt were the spitting image of each other to the point where Matt's sister confused us and our parents would confuse us. So we were like twinsies, and I'm really, really happy to have them on because I've never seen them live,
All right.
and I used to be in the fucking band. It was Richard Harris. Never seen them play live, let alone gigged with them. So I'm really excited that they're on board for this one. I can't wait to see the new material.
Yeah, same as, and of course, before we touch on, who's your sound engineer for this event?
Oh, that's a good question.
So we've got a couple
Jinxie
of
doing it,
the
no?
house engineers from. Sorry,
The Jinxie doing it, no?
Uh,
James
on
used to
board.
do all the sound engineering in the past, no?
sorry, Osh, your volume.
We've got but now
Oh, you're okay. It just get cut out every now and again. So you've been saying about the sound engineers. Go on ahead.
so we've got Griffey, his like house sound engineer from Jolly's. I think agency as well. Then Calvin is coming down to give us a hand. So Calvin, you from Rivandra, is coming down to give us a hand on the day as well. So we'll have a few engineers on site just to kind of help everything run smoothly.
Very good. That's just something that just came into my head there all of a sudden. Like because unless you have a good sound engineer, it doesn't matter who you bring down, does it?
Yeah, well, that's it. The sound engineer is kind of the make or break it for a festival
Oh, it
or
is.
any
It
gig.
is.
Like,
And of course, we've previously mentioned Vendetta Love as well too, and a band that has gone from strength to strength over the years, and even sported Airborne amongst others. Like
I
they've had
fucking know, man. Like, Jesus Christ, I remember back 2018, I was trying out to be their bassist.
Jesus.
Yeah. Then I had the kid, and yeah, just kind of went, I'm not going to be able to do this, lads. It was just fucking funny though, because like every time we go over, or every time I go over from Tullamore to play with them, like I'd show up with my bass and we go to the pub, we'd have a few pints, and there'd be no music played whatsoever.
That's more common than people realize.
Yeah, sure. God knows the amount we drink in our practices. Look,
What harm? What harm? Get the creative juices flowing and all that.
that's it, Dutch courage and all of that.
Unless you're the drummer, and then things could go wrong badly.
Well, we have a specific diet that we feed our drummer, Monster and Doinks. It's the only way it's you get the balance right, and he's never out of time. You go too much in one way, he's either too fast or he's too slow.
Exactly, it's a balancing act. How you know the stage is straight? The drummer is frothing at both sides of the mouth, And of course,
I'm using that one.
and of course, last but no means least, yourselves, War of Attrition, are playing it. So, and Ocean, I know you've played events in Mulling, and I was going to say Mullingar before. Of no, not Mullingar, obviously. You know, Jesus, I've lost fucking running myself
Oh
now.
yeah, I played
Tullamore,
there.
Tullamore. How am I going to remember that? I know you played the punk festivals and stuff in the past, but is this the first time you've ever played Tullamore in a band?
Yeah, actually, well, with War of Attrition, anyways, like I've hopped up on stage with a number of bands over the years and just done kind of guest guitar solos. But yeah, from back in my early days of playing in Joe Lee's, it was all the kind of solo
Yeah.
virtuoso stuff like shit and Gary Moore shit. I never actually played Joe Lee's with a proper band doing a proper set list. So, John, the bar manager, he has
Owner.
been up our arses for 5 years because all of us would have had our kind of the start of our musical journeys in that pub. So it's actually a bit of a crime that we haven't played there yet, but
Happening now.
yeah,
Yeah.
better later than never.
And we obviously won't go into any details, but you were telling me off camera that pre-sales are actually very good for considering from what we're it's a month out yet. Like, so you're doing well on pre-sales, and no doubt people will turn up. And then of course, shit, well, I forgot to mention you've got Dive, actually, the Nirvana tribute act as well
Yes.
too.
Yeah. They're so far our consensus is that they'll be cracking the day open, ease people in.
Well, one thing you do need for these type of events is at least one cover band,
Yeah.
just to draw the normies in, as they call them. The
Yeah, I
ones,
mean, like we get them in for the opening, get their money, and then if they don't like it, they can leave.
got your money now anyway, so that's it. Like,
Yeah,
so
it's
that.
like, yeah, that's it, bud.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
Dave, the front man of Dive, who was actually a friend of Luke's, they're a local band, and he is a fantastic front man. So we're
Yeah,
delighted to have them.
he comes down and crashes in my gaff for sieges and that. So like, he's a good dude.
And he was
Good stuff.
also out for
Yeah, he was also out searching with us as well for Luke in the first week.
So all in all, you've got a packed day there, lads. You really have.
Yeah, it's like we're planning on doing a corpse paint face painting and that as well for it. Just because there's going to be kids, so we may as well do something child friendly.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Get them dressed up. And
as Gene Simmons or something like that, or like Corpse Paint.
you never know. You could do things like raffles and stuff like that too. Maybe raise a few more.
Oh, actually, speaking of raffles, we are actually in the middle of organizing one.
Yeah, just to raise a few
So,
more public,
oh yeah, like we've already had a good few local businesses in Tullamore reach out to us, like to offer to sponsor prizes for the
Very
raffle.
good.
So on the day we're going to be doing tickets for like €1 or €2 or whatever. Like keep it relatively inexpensive and just try and bolster numbers. So at the end of the day, we can give as much as possible to Missing Persons Ireland because they're criminally underfunded.
Yeah. So that's a great cause, and as you mentioned earlier, the day is going to be documented as well too. So that's
Yeah,
better
it's,
again.
Yeah, so the documentary is being directed by Wolfie, and then myself and my father, John, actually, were going to be editing it. And the hope is to have the documentary kind of just, cover a bit about Luke, a bit about the festival, and just the Irish metal scene in general. And we're hoping to have it ready for film festival season next year. So all of our sponsors are going into the credit rolls and everything. We'll be interviewing all the bands who play on the night. And yeah, with a bit of luck, it'll kind of just help keep the momentum of Look for Luke campaign and just the general.
Just spread the word in general, like
yeah,
people know that these things are there and they need support, and they're underfunded. And as you've mentioned earlier, like the people at the top don't give a fuck. So you've got to get the middleman in the middle more support. Otherwise, nothing's going to get done. Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, like fucking, it's on average 1,500 people per year go missing in Ireland. Yet the only place in Ireland, the only place in Ireland that has a dedicated missing person search unit within the Guards is in Dublin.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowhere else has a dedicated missing persons like search unit, so that doesn't make sense to me, like at all.
How
Especially
could that
like,
like how could that make sense to anyone? Like,
yeah, like fucking, like look like your man missing in Kerry, for example. Like, Kerry's like it's mountains. Like,
yeah,
there's towns and there's civilization there, but there's a lot of mountains. Like, and unfortunately, volunteers are all well and good, and everyone who does volunteer for searching and that, like, fair fucks to you because it's not easy. But like, you don't realize how much actually has to go into these kind of things, and I think the government very much needs to expand on the missing persons search units, like even if it's one per major city in the country, like fucking, because only having one in Dublin makes no sense.
how does it? Like, you should have one in Cork, Dublin, Galway, Limerick,
Yeah, at the
and and,
very
and, and
least.
Athlone and Athlone as well too. Realistically,
Yeah,
just to cover,
I
maybe
mean,
Sligo, just to cover the
yeah,
good coverage
it's
of the
like
area.
it's like it's how can people in Dublin be able to search everywhere in the country? Like, it's
It's not
it's
possible.
it doesn't make sense. But sure.
But exactly as I say, butcher. That's
Yeah,
but that's the most Irish way you could ever kind of put it. Butcher now, like.
yeah. It's the end of the day.
But
I
at
can
the
I
end of
can
the,
scream as much as I fucking want, but whether or not people listen is another matter.
well, that's the problem too, isn't it? But look at as you're doing a great thing with the festival, and you're raising money, and you're bringing awareness, and you're introducing new people to new music, and you're keeping the band going. And fair play, like Nathan, you could have just folded completely after this, but you could, like, so fair play to you, man, for
Ah,
doing this. Like,
like to be fair, I fucking nearly did, man. Like,
I wouldn't have, no one would have judged you or blamed you if you did.
yeah, but like the way I view it is like fucking. I love making music. Like, it's part of who I am. It's what makes me keep going. Like fucking like our first gig since all of this kicked off was in Galway, and I was shitting it. I was just like just not in a good space for it. And then we did it. I was like, I feel alive for the first time in a couple of months. This is great. Let's do more gigs.
Exactly. And we shall leave it at that for tonight now, lads. And thanks for coming on. And I'll be doing more promo for the gig in the run up.
Thank you very much, Phil.
And I won't say I'll be there, but hopefully, let's put it that way.
Yeah, look,
I'm actually looking into it because it's actually
if
quite
you're able
handy.
to if you're able to make your way down, give me a shout and we can we'll take care of you.
Oh, great stuff. Anyways, this was War of Attrition, and the Tullamore Phoenix Metal Festival is coming up on the 31st of May in Joe Lee's Bar and Lounge in Tullamore, Offaly. And it's going to be a great day. And there's an online funder, there's a GoFundMe as well online too that people can donate to if they can't make the day too. That's correct, yeah?
Yeah. So there's a GoFundMe that we have up for the day. We also have tickets that you're able to buy as well. So, like, if you want to go but you can't make it, buy a ticket or donate.
You can support in other ways.
Like, everything is very much appreciated. Just because without the support of people, we can't do this kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's like the end of the day, like as we were saying before we started recording all this, like, the metal community in Ireland is very much a community. Like, it's good to have each other's backs, and at the end of the day, the only way any of us are going to get anywhere in music is by supporting each other. Like, that's it.
Exactly, and I can't think of any better way to leave it on than that. All right,
Right.
thanks everyone for watching. Good luck.